Hi, Charlie. I'm Addie, and I'm 14. I'm a freshman in high school, and I was wondering, as someone who has a different opinion on college, what would you say the pros and cons are? Because I'm interested in political journalism, and what would your advice be?
I think there is an argument to bring back the MRS degree, and no, seriously.
I think you're making a really good case to bring back the PIG degree. To that 14-year-old girl, I don't know if she'll ever see this. If you have intellectual curiosity, if you have a passion, you want to do political journalism, you go get it, girl. You go get it. Okay, pursue what you're interested in. And don't ask Charlie Kirk for advice. You're literally asking the worst person in the country for advice on what you should do with your future as a young woman. Anyway, at Turning Point USA's conference for conservative young women, where are her parents and why are they doing this to her? But okay. Charlie Kirk told a crowd full of high schoolers if they're interested in college, they should go get an MRS degree. Okay, you just heard an example of it. Now, before we hear more from Charlie Kirk, who apparently knows what's best for women, young women, let's just talk a little bit about, look, MRS degree, Mrs. degree, he's basically saying, you're gonna get married, you're gonna be a parent, you're gonna have kids, you don't need to work. He lives in a fantasy land. He has a lot of money. He doesn't have to worry about his wife needing to work in order to make ends meet. But also, even if they are rich and she doesn't need to work, if she wants to pursue a career, she should be able to do it. But Charlie Kirk has been really aggressively pushing this traditional gender norms. And if you're a woman, you should be in the household, you should be raising your kids. Look, if you want to do that, I really do respect it. And I wish that we had an economy set up in which we didn't need dual income households to make ends meet. That's what I want to get to. I desperately want to get to an economic system that's far better than the trash that we have now. Where we don't have these huge disparities in income and wealth among Americans. And it's really pronounced in places like Los Angeles. So a lot of working class people who live in these big cities, for instance, they don't have the freaking luxury of being stay-at-home moms, even if they desperately want it. But look, I'm expecting Charlie Kirk of all people to get into this kind of conversation. No, he's gonna do I owned you, get an MRS degree. There's no depth to this guy. All right, so with that in mind, let's go to the next clip.
Let me also speak to some of the young ladies here in high school where who's here where your top priority is get married and have kids? Raise your hand. Okay. Interestingly, I think there is an argument to bring back the MRS degree. And no, seriously. And just be clear, that's why you're going to college, right? Don't lie to yourself. I'm studying sociology. No, you're not. We know why you're here. And that's okay, actually. And that's a really good reason to go to college, actually, especially an SEC school. You will find a husband if you have the intent to find a husband at Ole Miss. It's just gonna happen, okay? Or wherever. Yeah, there you go, see? Or at University of Alabama. But there you go.
Sometimes, rarely, I have expensive tastes. All women do. Depends. It depends on what your thing is. I like weird antiques. I know, I'm 85 years old. I like cool perfume bottles from the 1920s. I collect them. Sometimes they're a little pricey. And you want to know what's really nice? That I don't have to ask my husband for permission or for an allowance. That I have my own economic liberty and independence. Now, I'm in a really happy marriage. And if there's a big item, it's super expensive, obviously, we talk and we make sure that we're on the same page. But, it's just, I have this feeling, I could be wrong, right? This is totally speculation. I have this feeling that there's an element of control involved here. And it really bothers me. And when you have a young woman, when you have a 14-year-old tell you that she's interested in political science or political journalism, when your retort is, you need a MRS degree, you're not helping. And this whole event is just a charade, like a charade, okay? Like it's useless. I can't believe parents are taking their kids here, but okay, there's more. He also wants to bring back the celebration of said degrees. Let's watch.
If you think about it, like I say college is a scam, but if you're gonna find your life partner, like that's actually a really good reason to go to college. You have a bunch of people that are single, they're at the prime of their, let's just say attractiveness. The dating pool is as robust as you'll ever find, and they all live together over a 4-year period. Like you don't get much better than that, okay? It doesn't get better after college there. And so yeah, you could go learn some stuff. That's fine, I guess, or whatever. Just don't listen to your professors. But that actually was the reason why a lot of women went to college in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and it worked for a lot. Marriage rates have plummeted since that.
Charlie, what would you know about college? What would you know about finding a partner in college? You didn't go to college. Homeboy acts like, oh yeah, I had a great 4 years in college. I met my wife there. You didn't go to college. So why are you giving advice on finding a partner to marry in college? And no, most people don't go to college because they're looking for a mate. In fact, a lot of people go to college because we live in the type of economy where even to get like a low level job, you need a 4-year degree at this point. And I think we need to change that. But people go to college because they don't want to live in poverty. But then they end up taking on a massive amount of student loan debt and they live in poverty. There's a lot of messed up things happening in this country right now. And so when you are answering questions from young people who have their whole future ahead of them and you turn it into a whole joke and give them this crappy advice, I don't know, I just get offended by it. Because I would kill to go back to 14 and know the things that I know today and do things a little differently. But I was very lucky. I had a lot of great adults in my life who were mentors, who guided me, who gave me good advice. And I ended up with a happy marriage and a career, it's not a happy career. We talk about a lot of depressing stuff, but I love what I do. And so I just don't want these kids to take anything Charlie Kirk is saying seriously, because again, he's like really directing them in a bad direction. Now he, while sitting on stage with his wife, he also stated, if you're not married by the age of 30, you only have a 50% chance of getting married. I don't know where he got that number from. People are getting married later and later in life. I will say this, if you want to have kids, get married sooner rather than later. Because once you hit like the mid 30s, like you just start getting real tired. You're not want to have kids, okay? You're gonna want them to be a little more grown. But if you've decided maybe kids aren't for me, great. You can get married a little past 30. You get married at 40. You get married at 50. People get married and divorced and then married again. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you giving relationship advice? So he cited the same percentage about having children. And by the way, the lore behind his wife, Erica Kirk, is telling. So Erica is a former Miss Arizona who, according to Kyle Spencer's book, first met Charlie while seeking a job at Turning Point USA. Wait, are you saying that women can meet someone that they might want to marry at the workplace? Interesting, okay. And apparently, so this was when she was seeking a job at Turning Point USA. I'm not going to hire you, he told her when he was done with the interview. I'm going to date you. Not creepy at all. Not creepy at all. I hope that someone in that family does a little wellness check, on that marriage and everything's okay. But don't take relationship advice. Don't take career advice from the likes of Charlie Kirk, especially if you're a young woman. I don't know what these parents were thinking. Charlie Kirk has also helped build the evolving womanosphere. I'm done with the story. That's it. We're done with it, right?
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.